Thank you so much for joining me, Mitul. I am really, really grateful that you made time for this conversation. I know you have a very busy schedule and you work very hard in sharing resources and knowledge with fellow immigrants who are always, looking for work as they transition into this new phase of life. You started Canada Works hashtag, and that's how I know you. I know you through LinkedIn. And look at this, we are actually having a conversation today. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Taranum. It's great talking to you. And yes, a lot of people have gotten to know me through the hashtag because, that's something, because collectivism is something, which brings everybody together.
That's so true. And I'm glad that you thought of using a hashtag, because that makes you unique when you are sharing content and when you are sharing that the resources. People can actually search you through that hashtag, which is a very interesting thing. So is your background marketing, or how did you think of it?
Well, actually, I do belong from marketing background, and I have been into marketing field since throughout my career, specifically into sales. So I do a lot of meetings, meeting clients, taking care of business development, account management, key account management, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a people-facing role, a customer-facing role,
Mm-hmm.
and of course that is something, which has helped me as an individual, to use or to utilize certain things to in a kind of extrapolating way, right? Because there are certain things which we can amplify, right? And as regards LinkedIn, reach is something which you can amplify through activity, and that's exactly what I thought of doing. Although I didn't know that it would make such a big difference when I started, because I knew, because increasing reach and expanding your network, especially through your work, takes a bit of time, right? And so you do need to put in your efforts, your sincere efforts, and you have to constantly network. And yes, eventually it worked, and I'm happy the way it turned out to be.
I understand that now you have changed your stream and working in the financial industry.
Actually, I was working. So
Oh,
basically, my
you were
background.
in financial and then now moved into different role?
Yes, so now I'm into telecom sales. I
Mm-hmm.
was into, like, previously I was into financial sales, but then of course the function always remained the same. So I started my career from advertisement industry, because media and advertisement is something which is really close to my heart.
Wow.
I followed my passion. Fortunately, I was able to start my career with something which I really, really love, and which I was really passionate about, and I still am. So, and then slowly and gradually, once I moved here, it's been almost like a little over 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It has been an amazing journey, and I couldn't have taken a better decision in my life. That's for sure. And as regards my career transition is concerned, of course, I started from media sales. Then once I moved here, I wanted to try something new, because I thought that is the perfect opportunity for me to try something new, which I never did.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you have those self-doubts and about yourself when you are transitioning to a different industry, which is completely natural.
Mm-hmm.
But I did want to take that chance, and I was really happy. Once I worked in a different industry, and that's when I knew that, well, the key skills, or as we call the transferable skills, all remain the same, because at the end of the day, I was into customer facing role, the same functions which I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm into telecom sales. So yes, it has been quite a journey for me.
That's wonderful. So with the present situation with COVID-19 happening, has it impacted you? Impacted you in a way where you have changed what you're doing with your family, or your personal life, or your professional life?
Well, yes, just like everybody else, or most of the people, it has affected me as well, in a way that now I'm working from home mostly. Of course, we are not supposed to venture out,
Mm-hmm.
and which is for our collective good. So we need to adhere to those instructions, and we are going to play our way. But from the work perspective, of course, I'm working from home as much as I can. And because I'm in such a profession where I have to be constantly connected, of course, through phone calls, through emails, right, proposals, all those things. All those things keep going on.
So it's in a way, it is good that you have the opportunity to still continue working virtually through phone calls or through virtual meetings, which is definitely something that is continuing your work as on the flow.
Yes, at least you are active, Actually, at least it's better than, not doing anything or doing less or doing less, than what you're used to do. But then again, it's all about adaptability, right? Because because of whatever adverse situations, we are made to sit and work from our homes. But then again, the positive side of it is that at least you are doing something new, right? Yeah. You learn something new. And of course, initially it does take a while to get used to, such a setting, working from home, because productivity is something which could take a direct hit, under such circumstances. But then again, slowly, it does take a few days, but then eventually you know that you are what you're supposed to do, your work, and as long as you're focused, I think it's more about implementation than anything else.
So how do you structure your day now that you are following the new routine? Have you changed anything? Are you working in a different way?
Well, different way as in I do have a kind of pattern or daily timetable, dare I say, which I tend to follow. Now, how it works is that I just discount the time which we all take to travel to our office, the commuting time. I just add that 30 or 45 minutes to my sleeping time. So now what I do is I wake up every day at 7 a.m. right? So 7 to 8, I usually, take time to get ready. That first hour is to, freshen up and get ready. Then 8 to 9, I give that a bracket of 8 to 9 for, having breakfast, a little bit of browsing, and of course I check my LinkedIn, and that's how that 8 to 9 bracket goes. And then 9 to 9:30 is all about planning your day. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't plan your day, then, you are neither here nor there. So you are, always struggling to, kind of get through your day. Mm-hmm. So to avoid that, what I do is I plan my day between 9 and 9:30. And then from 9:30 to 10, I devote that half an hour to kind of, give away replies or, replying to emails,
responding
sending
to your
emails. Yes. Mm-hmm. And checking any messages or whatever it could be, be text messages, be emails, be phone calls. So that initial, half an hour is for that. And from 10 onwards, I start my office work. Mm-hmm. So 10 to 1 is absolutely office work, communications, sending proposals, replying, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Then at 1, I break for lunch, from 1 to 1:30. It's kind of lunchtime. Then again, once I'm done with my lunch, I again get back to my office work, which runs up to about 4 p.m. in the evening. Then again, 4 to 4:30, I again spend about 20 to 30 minutes going through my emails, whether I've missed anything, whether I need to reply, something.
A check or a wrap up of the day.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want a situation wherein you close your day and then you suddenly think that, oh, I didn't see this email and now I need to reply again. So it kind of drags further than what you accounted for. So to avoid that, I just spend that 4 to 4:30, a period for that. And then again, at 5, I actually almost close my office work, right? And 5 to 6, I take a break again. And 6 to 8 is again, I think that time frame is something which you can utilize, to learn something, to update yourself, because through your day you are in that, you are in a tandem, right? So it's easier for you to continue the tempo, right?
Okay, so go
because
with the flow, because I know
yes,
you like devoting it to learning. I know some other people, and for myself, what my routine is, after I've wrapped up work, I will take that hour break, maybe have my dinner, an early dinner,
yeah,
or maybe spend some time either in the garden, or get some fresh air, or for that matter, even hold a book
right.
or listen to music, just something to unwind.
Yes, of course, because that's really important, because
Yeah.
these days, especially when we're confined to our houses, it becomes all the more important to kind of engage yourself in activities which can, free up your mind, or,
Mhm.
which can essentially declutter your mind in a way that, which kind of, makes you relax, as well as, makes, because, relaxation is directly connected to concentration levels.
Of course, and it
If
makes you more productive and rejuvenates you, refreshes you,
exactly,
for getting ready for the next
yes,
day.
exactly. So 6 to 8, I devote that time to network, spend time on LinkedIn, to read, to reach out to people, or to do any activity, whether I need to comment, post, whatever it whatever it relates
I,
to. And after, I break for dinner at 8, and it's like dinner come, TV period, where you can, watch whatever news
news and all, what's
or
going
any
on.
shows. Yeah, then again, I tend to read, or kind of take up any online course, or read a book or something like that, from 9:30 till I go to bed. And then eventually around 10:30, I hit the bed, and that's how my daily, a typical day looks like.
Well, I'm glad that you actually broke it down at length, because for people who are experiencing job search or new immigrants, sometimes it is very hard to put a structure. Now,
Yes,
the way you've described it, it might be a good practice to follow for even people who are in the job search mode, to take those breaks and divide up the time in a way where they have a plan
right.
that they follow, which can really give them that space to be in a good mind.
Yes.
Now, I know these are amazing tips that they can practice in their day-to-day life. Tell me something. You're giving, you're sharing resources. Have you come across any acts of kindness or any shout outs that you want to give to people who are doing great work either on LinkedIn or any other platforms, or in person?
Well, in present times, we all see acts of kindnesses, because with the pandemic situation, everybody's trying to do their bits. Organizations, be it any special bodies, or even individuals. For example, let's just take example of all the executive coaches, or job search coaches, or job strategists, and so on and so forth. And they are also devoting their time to give back to the society, because this is the time when there have been lots of job losses, and that's a fact, and they're continuing to happen as we speak, right? Many people, thousands and thousands of them, have lost their jobs. Now, at least the least one can do is provide them support, uh, act as a guide. If you can, then you can at least talk to a few people, guide them in the right direction, help them pick up themselves, because in such times it's more depressing, it's more panic kind of situation.
Any names
And
that come to mind that you would like to share, that people can follow, that you have been following, or who are giving out that kind of content?
well, yes, I do have a few people who I personally follow, right? Because I derive a lot of satisfaction, and of course motivation and inspiration from all of them. Some of the names, I mean, if you are in Canada, then of course you may have possibly come across names like Shweta Regmi, Brian Golod, and coaches like Sarah Johnston. Of course, she is not based out of Canada, but then again, there's a gentleman called Austin Belsack, there's Talal Al Murad. So there are lots of people, who are creating meaningful content on LinkedIn itself. Now, it does not limit to job search itself, but because majority of individuals who are on LinkedIn, apart from networking, are also job seekers, especially if we talk about new immigrants, right? Their main target and their main concern is job search, and especially in present times because of this virus thing. It's a little bit more difficult because now you cannot expect someone to meet you in person, at least for now, right? So, and you cannot wait for this situation to get over, because otherwise it would mean that you are wasting a lot of time which you could have alternatively utilized to your advantage. So
Absolutely.
I do recommend that it is the best time to virtually network at this point in time. People do have disposable time at their on their hands, and it's the ideal time to reach out to someone, ask guidance, or just to talk and learn about an industry or any field which you may want to enter.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
That's really useful advice for people to use their time wisely and network and learn from people who are already creating content, because you do so much for others. How about we turn the tables and I ask you, if there was something that you could ask from a magic wand, or let's say from that the spirit or the nature, what would that one thing be?
Well, I always, there's always this one thing that no matter how far a man runs or to, which level a person goes up by, but there's always something like a phase of, nirvana kind of thing, right? Where you are self-content, where you are accepted as you are, and you are accepting others as well, the way they are. So it's a kind of phase or a level where, everybody is on the same platform, right? So there's equality, and of course, we don't want any situation. So that's the ideal kind of scenario. If I had some superpowers or superhuman powers, I would want to bring everyone on the same, platform, on the same table, because that can create a different kind of harmony and equality as well.
That's such a noble thought, to want to be mentally or spiritually or personally in a space where you don't feel judged and you don't judge others.
Yes.
So definitely, the world would be a better place if we could come to that level and leave the judgment aside. That's a very noble thought, Mitul. I really appreciate having had the opportunity to talk to you. Is there one last tip that you want to share before we wrap up?
Well, my favorite tip these days and always has been that, be active on LinkedIn and also be proactive on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is such a platform which you can utilize to your advantage. You need not have the premium membership. It's not going to make much of a difference if you are, starting afresh on LinkedIn. You need to follow certain people, watch how they create content, why they create content, who engages with their content, and so on and so forth. And as far as job searching in North America is concerned, especially in Canada, the short way, if I may say, is that because most companies are looking for personable personalities, right? People who are a little bit on the outgoing side. They want to see your soft skills, because in most roles, soft skills are something which are which can actually sway the pendulum in your direction or in your favor. So especially in job searches, create a sort of personal brand, because that's something which is really important. Now, when I say personal brand, it's not something that you spend a lot of time or efforts or even the financial resources to kind of create an extravaganza. But what I'm trying to say is create meaningful content. Be visible to others, because if you are visible to others, then no matter who the person is, be it a recruiter or be it any other fellow LinkedIn user, they will feel affiliated and they will eventually engage with you, and that will create that whole branding kind of that whole personal brand, because it needs to be an active brand and not a passive brand that you created a profile.
I hear you. I completely hear you. So use your skills and competencies in a way where you can show what value you can add to either the employer or to the people that you're networking with. Create a brand presence which speaks to who you are as a person.
Yes.
And who you are as a professional. Profound thought. Mitul, thank you so much for that conversation. I truly, truly appreciate what you're doing. I hope you continue doing it. Keep making the way. Be safe. Stay well.
Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell to keep updated with all our videos. Thank you.